You're watching Retirement Talk with Eric Kearny, Southwest Florida's retirement television. He's an author, a radio host, a fiduciary, and Southwest Florida's premier investment advisor. Here is Senior Investment Advisor Eric Kearny.
Hello and welcome to Retirement Talk with Eric Kearny. I'm Wendy Falk and I'm here today with Eric Kearny, President and CEO of Retirement Wealth Advisors. Hi Eric, how are you?
I'm good, Wendy. How are you?
I'm doing great. We've got a good show today.
I think so. I'm actually really excited about this show because this is actually a subject that I've been talking about for a long time. So I think it's going to kind of blow a lot of people away because sometimes you and I have got to get away from all the, financial talk that we talk about. It's like a financial plan and everything. But I want to talk about like how people actually feel before they come into our office, because those feelings are valid, and we have to understand how that person feels and why they're actually not coming into the office. So I'm excited about this show today because I think that we're going to highlight a lot of the reasons that people don't want to go see a financial planner.
I agree. So we're going to talk about, are you in a financial no man's land? Eric, what's your definition of a financial no man's land? And do you find a lot of people in a financial no man's land when they come in to see you?
Well, Wendy, I'm glad you asked.
Well, my pleasure.
So my definition of a financial no man's land is people aren't really happy where they are, but they're just not unhappy enough to do anything about it. So what do? Nothing. They stagnate, they procrastinate, they just kind of figure, okay, I'll take care of this one day. But the thing is about a financial no man's land is people don't understand how long-term that's detrimental to them. What we're showing them is, look, if you're in a financial no man's land, get out of that rut, do something about it. And the reason for that is we've met so many people that we have met, and I said, look, I'm glad that you came in to see us because in another 2 or 3 years, if you procrastinated past this point, your options diminish. And the older that we get, the further in retirement that we get, our options go minimal. And we've got to be very careful of that because at a younger point, while we're still accumulating, you have as many options as you absolutely want to. So people that are proactive, right, and are not in a financial no man's land are trying to get out of there, and they're trying to be, find somebody that says, hey, we want to be proactive. We want to look at your next 10, 20, 30 years, and how can we actually take advantage of that? So the opportunities are there at an earlier age, but people that are in a financial no man's land, their opportunities actually diminish.
Well, that makes sense. And we've talked before, overanalysis leads to paralysis. People they're afraid and they think, oh, I don't want to go in and talk about this. But once they come in and talk to you and you sit them down and you go through that comprehensive written plan and all of those things, you can help them and they realize that. And then they're happy that they've come in.
Right. So interestingly enough, about 3 months ago, we had a new client come in and our first meeting was spectacular. Autumn is in almost every single meeting with me. And what we're doing is that when there's an initial meeting, we're interviewing that client just as much as they're interviewing us. I always say that you're entering into a financial relationship with that advisor or even that advisory firm. So you want to make sure that you're both a good fit. So after the meeting, it was a very good meeting, very productive meeting. And Autumn agreed, we both agreed that they would be a good fit for our firm. They also agreed that they wanted to work with us. So we set up a second appointment and they came in. The second appointment, I was all ready to go through some reports with them and everything. I was excited to get the meeting. And the first couple minutes were just a little strange. And it was just a very different meeting. So I was like, okay, I switched gears and thought maybe they don't want to discuss this. Let's get into something else. And that subject was just as boring, right? And I said, are you guys okay? And they're like, yeah, we're okay. But I could tell something was wrong. So this is just me, right? Because I want to get down to the bottom of things. I'm not trying to insult anyone, but I want to figure out what's wrong. So I slowly closed my laptop and I sat back in my chair and I'm like, you guys, what's going on? Like, this is such a different meeting than the first one. And he immediately broke down with me, Wendy, and he said, Eric, he goes, we really like you. We really like talking to Autumn. Donna was great to work with. We're just so afraid that you guys are going to change our life. And I said, well, what does that mean, change your life? He's like, we don't want you to tell us that we can't go visit our grandkids. We don't want you to tell us that we can't afford to go on vacation. And Wendy, I was blown away. I was like, no, 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 that is not what we're here for. We're here to go through a financial plan to show you what is possible, what we have to work on, and how can we actually best get you there. I don't really fully still understand what your goals and objectives are, but we're doing a discovery, seeing what the lifestyle that you want to live is. And I said, then it's my job to try to give you that, to try to complement that lifestyle. I'm not here to take things away. I'm actually here to try to provide you with things. I mean, that's the value that people come and see me. I want to make sure that I have this lifestyle. And in Southwest Florida, it's beautiful, right?
Sure is.
And the weather's beautiful. We have the beaches, golf courses, boating, anything that you want to do down here. People don't want to lose that lifestyle. So the bottom line was, that was the majority of the meeting, was going through all of that and showing them the process that we're going to go through. After we went through all of that, we saw a completely different couple. They were back to the couple that we met in the first meeting. Ever since then, the further that we got into that, they're out of that financial no man's land. Now they're being proactive. They see all the opportunities that we're presenting, but it's by going through and actually asking them a lot of questions, we're figuring out what's important to them. And there's a lot of advisors who have no clue what their clients actually want in their life. And so, again, we've put them through the whole process, and they've been a great client ever since. We just had to get through that financial no man's hurdle.
That's so surprising to me when you say that some advisors, they don't even know what people want with their life. How can you be an effective planner for someone's retirement if you don't really know what they want in their life? I don't understand how you could do that.
You can't, but that's the reason that we're so busy, and there's other advisors that are struggling, and they're always going to be struggling. They're putting people in inappropriate products. They're not providing them any service. They're not calling them. They're not being proactive. They're not giving them any updated ideas. And so again, we've got to, when something new comes out or something changes, or we can put our clients in a better position, we let them know. And this by no means is easy work. Sometimes we have to redo a lot of paperwork. We've got to shift things around. We've got to do electronic transfers, whatever it may be. But we're consistently putting that client in a better position, but that's what our job is. So again, when we take on a client, we expect to take them on for a lifetime, not just for a few years. We're putting together this whole entire elongated process to make sure that we're capturing that client and giving them the lifestyle that they want.
And at Retirement Wealth Advisors, you provide them with a lot of value and service all the time. I have seen that so many times when I've been in the office and just doing the shows that we do.
Right.
And that is a wonderful thing. That's why people come to you. Well, Eric, let's talk about, why do people invest in the first place? Say someone thinks are you in a financial no man's land? Are they questioning themselves and saying, why are we investing in the first place?
Well, yeah, I think they come in and they're like, well, why do we have to do this, right? I'm like, well, I don't know. What do you want your future life to look like, right? And so what we do is we start to paint a picture, and some people aren't able to do that. And I'm like, okay, if you really don't know why we're investing, let's start to paint a picture of what you want your life to look like. And that's where they say, well, I've always wanted to buy an RV and visit the national parks. That's great. So we have a funny story. We have two very intelligent engineers from Texas, and we factored in the RV. And so the funny thing is that when he sent me pictures of his RV, I said, that is fantastic. He goes, yeah, we went much bigger than we anticipated, thanks to you and your financial planning. So we kind of laughed about that. And I said, hey, did you ever factor in fuel? And there was like total silence on the video. He's like, oh man. I said, I did, right? And we actually factored in, if they go to 4 national parks a year, what Donna did was actually go in and track the mileage about where they're gonna go, how many miles to the gallon does this thing get? Not many. And then we actually factored that into their plan. So they figured that they would use it about 5 years. We tracked in how many miles they would drive, and we factored in inflation with the fuel, and we actually put that in their financial plan. They know exactly where the fuel is coming from for the RV. That is how detail-oriented they get. So we understood why they were investing, because they wanted to go on this road trip, and this is something that they wanted to share together. So the thing is that we're running financial plans and we're running all these contingencies in there that people aren't thinking about. So that's kind of the thing that we really like to do, because we always like to surprise people, but in a good way.
Again, so much attention to detail.
Yeah.
Well, Eric, let's open up the phone lines. The phone number is 1-800-779-1942. We're going to take the first 10 callers who are very serious about their retirement, and Eric has a wonderful offer for those first 10 callers. Eric, what is that offer, please?
Yeah, sure, Wendy. So if you're interested in a second opinion, you're looking for a written financial plan, or you're interested in a portfolio recovery strategy, give us a call today if you've saved at least $500,000 for retirement. We're going to take the next 10 callers. We're going to run all the reports for you, the fee reports, the Morningstar reports, a tax analysis, maybe even a volatility analysis. Let's see where it takes you. Let's see where that plan leads you. Let's get you reacquainted with your portfolio, and again, without any obligation. If you're interested in your very own income plan, we'll show you proven strategies and techniques to turbocharge your retirement income. In short, we're going to take all the guesswork out of financial planning, so give us a call at 1-800-779-1942.
The phones are ringing, but we will get to you, so do not hesitate to call in. We'll be right back with more Retirement Talk with Eric Kearny.
What does your retirement look like? Is it filled with travel, spending time with family, uninterrupted rounds at the golf course? Or are you too worried to even think about your hopes and dreams?
Questions about your retirement are normal. So come into our office, sit down with us, and let us help you find those answers.
Eric and his team can answer your questions with a complimentary review of your retirement and income plan, and it all starts with getting to know you.
We specialize in helping people just like you prepare for the retirement that they've always dreamed of.
They'll do exactly that by going over your current strategy to expose the weaknesses that may exist in your retirement portfolio. Plus, they'll explain potential risks and possible strategies to you in easy-to-understand terms and help get you reacquainted with your portfolio and income strategy.
What I enjoy most about retirement planning is sitting down with you and having real conversations about your retirement dreams and goals.
Once they understand your retirement goals, objectives, and dreams, they'll work to custom build a retirement plan to help ensure that you cannot outlive your income in retirement.
Retirement doesn't have to be scary. Let us help you retire confidently.
Because every dream needs a plan. Call Eric today and schedule your visit. You only retire once, so let's get it right the first time.
We're so happy you're back with us. Before our break, Eric and I were talking about, are you in a financial no man's land? Eric, let's keep talking about that. What do you think?
Sounds good.
First thing you might want to ask yourself is, what are your retirement goals and objectives?
Right. So this is where we're sitting down with that client and what is important to you. And again, if we have a husband and wife, what we're doing is we're asking the husband, what are your goals? What are your objectives? And then we're turning to the wife or the spouse and saying, what are your goals and objectives? What's interesting is a lot of times the husband will say, I don't really care what happens as long as my wife and family are taken care of. And that's a typical answer. But then what we're doing is we're turning to the wife and they're like, well, I want him to be around for a long time and I would like to do some things. So we understand how he feels. He wants to make sure that everyone's taken care of in case something does happen. And there always is usually a financial dominant person in a relationship. And sometimes it's the wife and sometimes it's the husband. And that's okay. We kind of have to figure out who that is. Not that we're communicating with that person more, but it's actually the other way around. A lot of times the less dominant financial person, we want to make sure that they're understanding what we're doing so that they can make sound financial decisions. I don't like when people are bamboozled in this industry, and you don't want to take advantage of someone's lack of knowledge from this because, again, you've been with me long enough, Wendy. You see all the moving parts. There's no way, combined with all my office staff, we're probably putting in 250 hours a week. Clients don't have that kind of time to put into this, so they're expecting us to do it for them, which is what we do. But the bottom line is that we're taking a look at their specific goals and objectives, and putting them together, saying, okay, I understand your concerns and also your concerns, bringing them on the same page. One thing I found about financial planning over the years is that a lot of times we are putting people together and they're actually getting along better because they understand their financial plan together. And there's a little bit of, my favorite word, congruency within that family.
You do like that word.
I do like that word. And we're creating that for them. And that is actually what I saw in my parents. I mean, they always agreed on the budget. You know, it wasn't always perfect, but the bottom line is that they always pretty much agreed on the budget and they understood where they were. We were always fiscally sound. By no means were my parents rich. They were both very hardworking middle-class Americans, but they also paid attention to that budget. They understood what their goals and objectives were, and they were easily executed because they planned for those. That's what we're trying to give people in retirement, is that smooth transition. There shouldn't be any violent bumps, and a lot of people have these violent bumps in their retirement, and we're trying to eliminate those.
Well, that's a good reason to come to you too, because financial issues are a big part of, when you're married, that's a big thing and can be a big hurdle to get through if you don't have some agreement and a plan that you both are working towards.
It is, and I want to also thank my concierge service team, because what they're doing is that they're handling the day-to-day monetary issues very quickly. So when a client calls in with an issue, we're able to put that little fire out before it turns into a huge brush fire. And these are things that people want handled very quickly. And in our industry, the one thing that I've had a difficult time with is the lack of service. Service in our industry should not be optional. It should be mandatory. And so that's the other side that flanks our strategic planning, our wealth management side, and our lifestyle planning, is our concierge service. So people want those things taken care of. They feel a lot better. They feel like we're responsible for them, and we're not just like saying, we'll take care of it. We need to take care of it right now.
Okay. Well, Eric, this is a very sort of a thought-provoking question that you ask your clients. What is the most important thing your money can help you do?
Mm-hmm. So again, this is what another question that we go through. What's important to you? When we understand what the motivation behind them is coming in, we want to make sure that we're acknowledging that for the client, okay? Because we had a woman come in and she goes, Eric, I've been funding my mother's retirement for the past 9 years. And she goes, I'm fortunate enough where I can afford to do that. But my mother never did any planning. She never really saved. She sacrificed a lot to give me the life that I actually wanted. And so the thing is that she's helping her mom pay for retirement, but she's also afraid that she's sacrificing her own retirement trying to take care of her mother. So we're hearing her loud and clear. It's not just a worry if her mom's going to run out of money. It's a concern because she is out of money. And so the bottom line is that now what we're doing is we're building her a portfolio where she never has to worry about her retirement income going forward. And so she's like, okay, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I know that I'm going to be okay. So we acknowledged what about your money is important to you, and we kind of answered that question, and we always had that at the top of our mind with that particular client.
Okay. Another one. If you could change 2 things about your current financial situation, what would they be?
Right. So what don't you like about your current situation? Because again, we're trying to fix those issues. The thing is that imagine if you have 2 broken fingers and you go into the doctor and he's like, well, you really need a nose job. You got to do something with that big nose, right? Well, I have 2 broken fingers over here and you're worried about my nose, right? So the bottom line is that I want to know what things can we fix right now to take those off your financial plate, because people get emotional about our money. What can we help you with? This is the behavioral modification side of it. We're paying attention to their emotions, their feelings, and people say, oh, that's kind of weird. It's not really weird, because our money ties us to everything else in our life. It gives us happiness, it gives us stress. There's a lot of different emotions that money provides us. So if we can kind of figure out what that is for that particular client and try to help them out in any way, we're able to do that. And so a lot of times we're still reverting back to our childhood, and we're seeing how we felt about money back then, and it's being carried into our adult life. So that's the thing that we're being very sensitive about, and we want to really listen to that client. You have to understand where they're coming from in order to understand where they're going.
Okay. Eric, we're going to open up the phone lines again. The number is 1-800-779-1942. First 10 callers that are very serious about your retirement, Eric has a great offer for you. And Eric, what is that, please?
Sure, Wendy. So if you're interested in a second opinion, you're looking for a written comprehensive financial plan, or you're interested in a portfolio recovery strategy, if you've saved at least $500,000 for retirement, then give us a call today. Be one of the next 10 callers. We're going to run all the reports for you. The fee reports, the Morningstar reports, a tax analysis, maybe a volatility analysis. Let's see where it takes you. Let's see where that plan leads you. Let's get you reacquainted with your portfolio, and again, without any obligation. If you're interested in your very own income plan, we'll show you ideas and strategies to turbocharge your retirement income. You can tell this is live TV, right? We're going to show you those turbocharged retirement income strategies. Give us a call at 779-1942.
Stay tuned. We'll have more with Retirement Talk with Eric Kearny.
What does your retirement look like? Is it filled with travel, spending time with family, uninterrupted rounds at the golf course? Or are you too worried to even think about your hopes and dreams?
Questions about your retirement are normal. So come into our office, sit down with us, and let us help you find those answers.
Eric and his team can answer your questions with a complimentary review of your retirement and income plan, and it all starts with getting to know you.
We specialize in helping people just like you prepare for the retirement that they've always dreamed of.
They'll do exactly that by going over your current strategy to expose the weaknesses that may exist in your retirement portfolio. Plus, they'll explain potential risks and possible strategies to you in easy-to-understand terms and help get you reacquainted with your portfolio and income strategy.
What I enjoy most about retirement planning is sitting down with you and having real conversations about your retirement dreams and goals.
Once they understand your retirement goals, objectives, and dreams, they'll work to custom build a retirement plan to help ensure that you cannot outlive your income in retirement.
Retirement doesn't have to be scary. Let us help you retire confidently.
Because every dream needs a plan. Call Eric today and schedule your visit. You only retire once, so let's get it right the first time.
Thanks for joining us on Retirement Talk with Eric Kearny. Eric Kearny and I have been here talking about, are you in a financial no man's land today? You know, Eric, you just opened your newly remodeled office in Bonita Springs. You've had an office in Bonita for 4 years, but now you're in a new location on Vanderbilt Drive, and it's a great location, and the office is beautiful.
Thanks, Wendy. So we went in there, we found this property, we went in there, we completely remodeled it. It's beautiful. It's just as beautiful as our other offices. And Dave, my wallpaper guy, was in there, and he always does a great job. So everything's done. We got a few pieces to move in there, but we've already been seeing clients in there. It's right on Vanderbilt Drive, and we're really happy about the location. We're surrounded by CPAs, estate planning attorneys, so everything that anybody needs, we're really there. So we're stoked about that.
Yeah, and again, it is a great location right off of 41, then on Vanderbilt Drive from Bonita Beach Road.
Yeah.
Well, Eric, let's keep talking about, are you in a financial no man's land?
Sure.
The next one we're going to talk about is there, and these questions are like, they make you really think, is there anything about your money that you are not 100% confident or comfortable with? When you ask people these questions, do they kind of look at you funny for a second, or are they into it?
They're into it.
Okay,
I mean,
good.
they're really into it because they're just like, you know, I've never been asked these questions before.
Yeah.
So, you know, at first they're a little slow asking these questions or answering them. And I'm like, look, I go, you guys, you know, like if I see a perturbed look on their face, I'm like, look, you guys, you know, this is what we do, but we've got to dig down deep. And they're like, okay. I'm like, this is for your benefit, I promise you. You know, like I'm not poking around, you know, trying to figure out things, but we really do want to get down to the nitty gritty. And I'll tell you, when they actually see this in the financial plan, they're blown away. They're like, oh, that's why you asked this question. And we're actually doing a mind map for them too, Wendy. I mean, there's so many things on the show that we do, or there's so many things on the show that we talk about that we that we also don't talk about that we do for that client, the mind map is actually one of them, and that blows people away. So the bottom line is that they actually see all of their life and their time frame mapped out in all of these plans that we've done for them, and they're figuring out, okay, this is why you're asking me all these questions. So again, the more time that we invest in them up front, the better off they're going to be way down the road. So like I said, I mean, our clients, we expect to work with them for a lifetime. It's not just 1 or 2 years. So we're getting them out of that financial no man's land, and we're really waking them up and saying, look, we can provide you with a better solution. I realize that in the financial industry, you've not had good experience in the past, and we tell everybody that. I don't hold any bars about that. I'm like, look, I don't like the financial industry myself, right? But I feel like we are one of the most respected planning firms in the area, so I'm very happy about what we do. And I'm also incredibly proud of all of my staff too, because I mean, people look at me as the investment advisor. Let me tell you something, there's no way I could stand the way that I do without the team that surrounds me, and they just do a fantastic job.
Yes, they do. Well, Eric, we live in Southwest Florida, and the lifestyle is amazing here. So asking your clients, how would you feel if you lost your current lifestyle? That's a big question. What do they say? It's
a big question because a lot of people have moved down from the Northeast or even the Midwest, and they're like, Eric, I am concerned as I get older, you know, and I want family around me. Do I have to move back to the Northeast or to the cold? I really don't want to lose my lifestyle. But what happens, you know, if my family can't be down here? How do I factor that into my plan? So that's where long-term care costs are coming in, medical costs are coming in, and how can we still maintain your lifestyle so that you don't have to lose it? And so through that planning, again, every single year we're reevaluating what their goals and objectives are. As we get older, we don't want to go to Hawaii. We want a super comfortable chair. We want to make sure that we can get to the doctor's office, whatever that may be. So we're being custom with every single one, understanding what they're trying to do and give that to everyone through that financial planning process.
And I know they really appreciate that. You know, Eric, we're going to open up the phone lines one last time. It's 1-800-779-1942. The first 10 callers who are very serious about your retirement, Eric has a great offer for you. And Eric, can you tell our viewers what that is?
I sure can, Wendy. And this is the last chance today for your opportunity to call in. We're going to take the next 10 callers who have saved $500,000 for retirement. And what this will consist of is simply running all the reports, the fee report, the Morningstar reports, a tax analysis, maybe even a volatility analysis. Let's see where it takes you. Let's see where that plan leads you. Let's get you reacquainted with your portfolio, and again, without any obligation. If you're interested in your very own income plan, we'll show you proven strategies and techniques to turbocharge your retirement income. Call us at 1-800-779-1942.
Thank you so much for joining us today. You know, you only retire once, so let's get it right the first time. Have a great week and an even better retirement.